We are igniting the blockchain. I am your host, Elizabeth. Join me and my guests as we talk about everything related to cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Nothing we say is legal advice or investment advice. Do your own research. Have fun and let's get started. This is Elizabeth, otherwise known as the Cryptowoman. Today, I am joined by Helie of Glopcoin. Glopcoin is a stablecoin backed by a currency basket. Am I describing that right?
Yes, absolutely. Very nice to meet you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, so you've been in crypto for a while.
For a while, yeah. Well, I've been in currency for many years. I'm in currency management. In fact, I studied in New York. Some years ago, 95 Wall Street as a currency option trader for a while, and then I went back to Europe, and then I set up my own company of currency management, called Overlay Asset Management. I set it up. I sold it to a bank, BNP Paribas. We went from $1 billion to $23 billion of currency risk to manage in like 10 years, and we split 8 years ago, and we started to be interested by digital in 2015. Why? Because our core product is a currency basket, okay? And much before Libra and Facebook, by the way. I know they are interested by basket, but we manage basket since 2010, roughly. And one of the most interesting thing we have been doing when we were with BNP Paribas Group was to design specific basket for specific clients. Like, let's say if you are vegan, there are a lot of vegan in the US, in Australia, in Sweden. So you can do a currency basket with the currency of all those countries, and you get the digital currency of the vegan community. That's typically what we are doing now, and we like the idea of the currency basket, but the problem is in the fiat world, you have to have mandates of at least, let's say, $50 million. Otherwise, you cannot do it, and that was a handicap. And then blockchain came, and it was not $50 million a minimum. It was maybe $50 or even $1. And today you can buy this basket for $1.11, I think. So that's the beauty of the blockchain and tokenizing these kind of assets. And since then we have been in crypto. Well, more in stablecoins than on crypto, really. I mean, on Bitcoin. But still, we are obviously we are interested by what's going on in Bitcoin.
Can you tell us how that works? What is a basket?
So a basket typically is a portfolio where you are in fact allocating the capital into various currencies. The way to allocate normally is under a rule book. Like an index. We have a 20 pages rule book which says how we select the currency and the weights of each currency in the basket. In fact, our flagship is called the Global Reserve Currency, GLX, and we have 15 currency in that basket plus 5% gold. Why gold? Because we designed the basket in 2010, just after the 2008 crisis. At that time, people were like a bit worried by what the central bank were doing, printing money, and so we say, okay, to add some store value features to our basket, let's put 5% gold. The other weights of the basket are according to the GDP as published by the IMF in Washington, D.C. And what we do, we are looking at those figures published by the IMF, and if there is a significant change in the GDP of each country, then we rebalance. For example, let's say US dollar, it's the largest allocation with 20%. Let's suppose the GDP of the US is coming up against the euro one, then the weight of the US dollar in the basket will be higher. Now, how we do it, every time that we are issuing a GLX, is this crypto, we will put at the bank the equivalent that we receive from the purchaser. We'll put it at the bank and convert it into the basket of those 15 currency and gold. So that means that the reserve account is mirroring the composition of the basket. And we have an audit that will say, okay, those people, they have issued a certain amount of cryptos and they have exactly the same amount at the bank in this in the currency of the basket. That's typically the how it works. So it's pretty straightforward. The thing is to be sure that there is no leverage, that every GLX issued correspond to the equivalent deposit at the bank, at the banks, to be decentralized. We don't want to rely just on one bank, and that's the way it works. And now, in terms of transparency, if you want to see how much my GLX worth today, it's because it's just with an Excel spreadsheet you could do it. Very simple. You take each currency, the weight. You have probably your Bloomberg, and you make the weighted average calculation, and you'll have what is the theoretical value of the GLX at every minute almost. That's the way it works.
So you are actively managing that basket?
No, because the IMF figures are published like twice a year. Okay. So, I mean, to follow our rules, it's not an active management. Okay. What could happen is that a currency crash, and that, for example, it was supposed to have let's say a 3% weight in the basket, but if it's crashing, maybe because of the value of this currency against the others, will go down to 2, then we'll have to rebalance and to go to buy back 1%. But there is no active management. It's just a rule-based basket. We are not trying to guess who will be strong, who will be weak.
Okay.
It's very automatic.
But that's good to know that it's actually a pretty solid, stable, ongoing, I want to say basket of currency reserves, but it's not. Yep. I want to use another word besides basket, collection.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's a collection, and that you would have a portfolio. So you have this GLX token, and I see that you're listed on 2 exchanges there. But how do you see people onboarding and using this token?
Well, as of today, we have put that with 2 exchanges. In fact, in the very near future, we'll expand the number of exchanges where it's listed. Mm-hmm. We were kind of waiting for some guidelines from the regulators in Europe. There is a big debate after Libra, Facebook's Libra, about stablecoins, and now we have, in terms of regulation, we have 4 documents for us, like Swiss-based or European, so we can refer to 4. And with our lawyers, we have, of course, carefully examined all those documents, and we're fine. I mean, we knew we have a legal opinion, but we are fine. So now we'll be able to do much more active marketing to attract people. The idea of this kind of basket is to say, look, we don't know whether it will be the dollar, the Japanese yen, the sterling, which will strengthen. Let's diversify. The key word is diversification, because somewhere we are citizens of the world. We are global people now, even if there might be some period where the global trade is shrinking, but it's a general trend. So and the purchasing power of anyone depends also on the purchasing power of its own currency. Maybe it's not as true for US-based consumers, but for a lot of people, it really depends on the value of your currency against the others, and I'm not even talking of Brazil, Russia, or Venezuela. Those people really see the importance of having a strong internal currency, because otherwise their purchasing power in the global economy is just shrinking. So that's the idea of the basket.
And I see on your website, which maybe you can tell us where we can go get some more information before I get into the next part.
Yeah, more information. You have normally a FAQ, and we have a, on social networks, normally we explain, what we're doing, and this is our flagship. But we also have, private baskets for specific clients. I was talking about the vegan community, but we have others that we are really, customizing for clients that have specific needs. But the principle is always the same.
That's very interesting. So on your website, I see a debit card.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
How's that working? And how will that benefit me to have that card?
Okay. Suppose you're, unfortunately, due to regulation, we can only distribute this card to Euro-based clients today.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We'll catch up with you.
Sorry about that. But, with some partnership, it should be, of course, it's doable in the US, but we don't have the license to do it. The way it works, suppose my son goes to New York to visit you and to spend some time with friends. And of course, after 1 week, he calls me and say, look, Dad, I'm running out of cash. It's so fun here. I don't have any more money. And let's say I'm in Switzerland. I want to send him some money. I have some options. One, the historical option was people from Western Union. I could go to Western Union and send him $200 so he can buy burgers and go what he wants to do in Manhattan. Now, this takes time. This is very expensive. You never know when he will receive the money. Maybe it's improving a little bit, but that's not that. Then you have all the banking, very expensive, FX rates, not attractive. With a card, he'll have a Glopcoin card. I have a Glopcoin card. When he rings me, he tells me I cannot pay my bill here at the Burger King. I take my phone, and in like 5 seconds, I can send him, let's say, $100 on his wallet, and he can immediately use his card in Manhattan to pay. So that's and that's for free. So it's a very convenient way of transferring money and spending and saving for people traveling. In fact, for either for business, for tourists, or for students that are going abroad to learn foreign languages.
Okay, so I'm seeing this both as an investment opportunity in terms of the basket and as a currency.
Yeah.
It as transferring funds quickly. If I wanted to make an investment in the basket, how would I do that?
You cannot qualify that as an investment of course, for regulatory reason. But let's say it's a store of value as a currency, because it's a strong virtual currency. Why? Because of diversification. So whatever happens, if let's say one of the currency of the basket goes up, another one will go down. But at the end, if you look at the value of the GLX against major currencies such as US dollar, Japanese yen, euro, sterling, it's very flat, because it's the diversification effect. So in that way, you could say, yes, it's whatever happens, I'm safe.
Okay, so basically, I would run and buy some GLX.
Yeah, and that would be, you can consider it as a very safe currency, because it's even, gold is rising now, but historically we know it has its ups and downs. It's quite volatile. So yes, it is a store of value, but sometimes it can lose 30% in 1 year. This currency, we are following this basket since 2012. It is very, very stable against almost everything. We have seen crises. We have seen components of the basket that had issues, such as, for example, Brazil or Turkey, and it's very stable. So it's a kind of store of value. Okay. Except if you know what will happen, but I don't have that crystal ball that can tell me, oh, this currency will be the one that is strengthening. But otherwise, the safer ways to do it is, okay, let's diversify.
So if my son were to go to New York City and need money, I would pull the funds that I'm transferring to that card from my GLX holdings. Yeah,
that's the idea. Okay. That is the idea. Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. You can do that, and on the other way around, you can load. You can load the you can buy the currency with whatever component of the currency basket. Yeah.
Okay, and that's when he receives this on his card, that's how he uses it. He transfers it to the currency that he wants to spend.
Yeah, today he has to do it himself. It's not automatic. It will be automatic by the end of the year. So the digital payment, digital currency payment, and yeah.
So you continue to develop and add features.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big believer in, like, globalization and people traveling more and more. Even if, unfortunately, the last 2 or 3 months have been a little challenging for that, but I think it's a general trend. So
yes,
yeah,
yes. Well, it certainly is a need. Stablecoins, store of value, but the transfer of funds quickly is a big need. I just can't imagine Western Union anymore. And I had to make a bank transfer. Believe it or not, it was to sponsor a blockchain event, and they wouldn't take crypto. So I had to go to the bank, and they didn't send me the right numbers. And so I had to go back the next day. And altogether, I think I waited 3 hours while this person called everybody and spent about $80. And I was like,
that's unbelievable. Yeah, that's unbelievable. Because I had exactly the same story. That was in last November. Same, half a day, because there was a mistake, and maybe even a little bit more than $80 that cost me out of 1,500. So yeah, I had exactly the same experience with Western Union. So
that's when we wish we had our GLOBCOIN.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cards.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, I'll have to definitely look into that. But you said, as a U.S. citizen, I'm limited in what? What are my limitations?
Yeah, because we cannot, I mean, with the regulation we cannot distribute cards to U.S. residents.
Okay.
For the time being, but we hope to partner with a local U.S. Company that has the license to do it, and we have the technology, we have everything to do it. So it's just a question of partnering with the right company to do it.
From your point of view, am I missing any questions that will help people understand this a little bit better?
No, I think it's pretty it. I mean, payments, the world of payments will change. I'm really waiting for Libra and Calibra coming by the end of the year. I think a lot of people will change their mind about digital currencies. And I think it's good to couple this kind of multi-currency card with digital currency. Very few, essentially for regulatory issues, you have very few companies doing both. We have 2 companies to do it, and 2 sister companies, because we think that, today you have on one side the credit card, on the other side the digital, and those 2 words are not really joining essentially for regulations. But I think it will come. It will come, and that will change a lot of things.
Will there be any place in this basket for a digital currency like Bitcoin?
No, not on the basket. No, not on the basket, but on the wallets. Yes, on the wallets. Yes, you can. You'll be able to have to have Ethereum, Bitcoin, or other cryptos on the basket, and then you can use it. Not on the basket, sorry, on the wallet, and then you can use it through the credit card. Wallet to wallet. Yeah.
Okay, so there'll be different trading pairs, crypto trading pairs.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the problem with payments. If you look at payments, all those venues, you will not, if you want to optimize your payment, you'll probably use different ways if you are paying from the US to Philippines than if you are doing a payment from the US to UK. And that's the tricky. If you want to be to find the quickest way and the cheapest way and the safest one, it will be different. That's difficulty for payment today, because you have to have a lot of knowledge of what is the best way if you want to optimize. But I think this, over time, that will change, and probably you'll have more global access and global solution.
Who do you see your average user?
Um, it's a very good question. There are, of course, everything which is cross-border. Cross-border, we have a great user. It's an NGO called Learning Lines. Learning Lines, they're based in Kenya. They are taking young people in the bush. Some they almost cannot write or read, and they take them for 1 year and they teach them how to code. And after 1 year, they are able to do a website, they are able to do a logo, and they have 2 or 3 job proposals. So it's a great NGO. I think they have they have like 800 students now. All of them have 1 or 2 jobs. So it's really great. And we are their donation currency. So if you live in the US, if you live in Russia, if you live in Peru, you want to donate to Learning Lines, and you can buy the GLX and send them the GLX in like 10 seconds. So that's really very good use of cryptos from our digital currencies.
And that is a good illustration about how blockchain and cryptocurrency are actually doing good things for this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
I like this.
The social impact of this use case is really good because everyone is winning. The donator and of course the charity itself. They save money in the transfer. For them, it's very easy. They can use it as a store of value if they don't want to convert all the donation into the local currency, which is weakening. So yeah, as you say, it's good.
It's a good one. Well, thank you for joining me today, and we will send people to your website, and that is globcoin.io.
Exactly.
All right. Are you on some social media?
Yeah, we are on Telegram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. Okay,
we'll make sure to put those down there too, those places that people can reach out and follow you.
Yeah.
So maybe the next time I catch up with you, we'll be on some more exchanges and I'll be able to participate here in the United States.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you
have a good day.
Elizabeth.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Check out ignitingtheblockchain.com for materials referenced during this podcast and for a list of other conversations about blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. See you around the block.